This was because Wu Xiao knew that Song couldn't easily attack her, just like how she couldn't hurt Song. Unless it was absolutely necessary, the two of them wouldn't become mortal enemies. This point, even though Ripple Mist knew that Song was on Leng Ruoxue's side, she was still certain. Otherwise, she wouldn't have bided her time and tolerated Leng Ruoxue's existence. But now that Leng Ruoxue had revealed all her secrets, she felt that there was no longer a need for her to hold back. Otherwise, wouldn't those people from the God world think that she was easy to bully? After Leng Ruoxue revealed the truth, her reputation would be greatly affected. Although the people in the Divine Master's estate were still respectful to her, she knew what those people thought of her. She could even sense that Leng Ruoxue's bounty would definitely attract some old fogies who had not shown their faces for a long time. And those damned old fogies would naturally not be on her side. Thinking of this, Wu Yan was deeply conflicted. The hatred he had for Leng Ruoxue grew even deeper. That damned Leng Ruoxue. Why can't you just stay in the land of demons and live your life? Why do you have to go against me? The more Wu Jing thought about it, the more she hated it. In the end, her beautiful face was somewhat distorted. When the servant who had been serving her saw this, he was so scared that he trembled like a fallen leaf in the cold wind. With a glance from the corner of her eyes, she rebuked with a look of disdain, "Get down." Hearing this, the servant's face immediately turned pale and he scrambled out of the hall. Wu Cheng's mood became even worse. At this moment, the anger in her heart and her hatred towards Leng Ruoxue had all gathered together. It was like a small river had turned into a vast ocean. She could not control it no matter what. While she hated Leng Ruoxue for opposing her, she had never thought about why Leng Ruoxue would do this. If she had not made the first move, how could Leng Ruoxue possibly have retaliated at this moment? After all, this wasn't the best time for Leng Ruoxue to face her head-on. Unfortunately, Wu Xian didn't think about these things at all. She was born a selfish person who only had herself in her heart. Naturally, she would do whatever was beneficial to her. At this moment, a black-clothed person strode into the hall. Only her most important confidant would dare to enter without any notice. As a result, when she saw the man in black, she actually revealed a rare smile. "How is it? What was the reaction of the beasts?" Without waiting for the man in black to speak, Wu Xiao asked impatiently. "Master, the magical beasts have yet to respond to Leng Ruoxue's bounty. However, according to what I know, the Phoenix King, the Dragon Emperor, and the Tiger King are also in a terrible fix. Furthermore, the opposition within their clans is getting stronger and stronger. I believe that at this moment, they are not in the mood to make a big reaction to Leng Ruoxue's bounty. However, I have already instructed our spies in those three clans to act according to the situation." The man in black said honestly. "Emin, it seems like this is the only way for now." "Oh right, how are the reactions of the other forces in the Divine Realm?" Wu Jing asked again. "The other organizations are very interested in the items that Leng Ruoxue has offered as a reward, but don't worry, my lord. They don't have the life to get it. Hence, my lord doesn't have to worry about the existence of those small fries. What's more worrying is the 8 divine regions." The man in black said after some thought. "The patriarchs of the 8 divine regions aren't fools. They won't easily go against me," Wu Yan said confidently. When the man in black heard her words, he naturally did not refute her and said, "Since that's the case, there's no need to worry, master. Yes, as long as it's not Song, I'm not worried. However, I'm angry that the good reputation that I've accumulated over the years has been destroyed by Leng Ruoxue in one day." Thinking of this, the coldness in Wu Yan's beautiful eyes became even colder. However, the black-clothed man did not know how to answer this. At this moment, it seemed that keeping silent was the best choice. At this moment, an attendant's voice suddenly rang out from outside the hall. "My lord, a few forces have sent representatives to request an audience with you." "What?" When Wu Jing heard this, she raised her beautiful eyes and looked at the black-clothed man in front of her. "Let them in." Usually, she would not meet these small characters, but today, she wanted to see where these people came from. Especially after Leng Ruoxue had set up that bounty, she was even more interested in the purpose of these people's visit. Soon, the representatives of the forces who came to see him were invited into the hall. Ripple Mist glanced at the flattered representatives and asked with a faint smile, "Is there something you want to see me for?" When the representatives heard this, their faces revealed a difficult expression. Originally, they had wanted to sneak in to see God Lord Mist Ripple, but who knew that they would run into people from other factions? This made them feel even more awkward, as if their dirty thoughts had been exposed to outsiders. This made them feel extremely uncomfortable. It was a good thing that Leng Ruoxue did not know what they were thinking right now. Otherwise, she would definitely say that this was a typical example of someone who wanted to be a whore and wanted to have a good reputation at the same time. "Since you dared to come, what else are you hiding from me? Or do you think that no one else will notice your little scheme?" Did he really think that everyone else was a fool? As soon as Wu Xian saw the expressions of the people in front of her, she knew that what they were going to say seemed to be something shameful. However, as a god lord, he wouldn't give in to them. Thus, Wu Xiao impatiently said, "If you have something to say, just say it. I don't have that much time for you to be in a daze." As soon as they heard this, they immediately put away their embarrassed thoughts, and then said their intentions one by one. After saying it, everyone's expression calmed down. Who asked them to have a common purpose? When Wu Yan heard this, she also laughed happily and praised, "Don't worry, after we get rid of Leng Ruoxue, I will give you a portion of all her wealth." When the few of them heard this, they immediately beamed with joy. Then, they said goodbye to Ripple Mist and went back to report. After they left, the black-robed man next to Ripple Mist looked at her worriedly and said, "Master, are these people's words reliable? They wouldn't dare to lie to me. As the saying goes, men die for wealth, and birds die for food. They were interested in Leng Ruoshue's reward, but they were not confident in killing me. Naturally, they would join me. Ha ha ha. That wretched girl Leng Ruoshue would never have thought that her bounty would have the opposite effect. Leng Ruoshue would never have thought of that. In reality, how could Leng Ruoshue not know what kind of impact her bounty would have on the people of the God world? It was precisely because she knew that she had disregarded the worries of Uncle Long and the others and offered a huge reward. This was also a kind of test. She wanted to see how the people of the Divine Realm would react to such a high bounty. They had lived in the Divine Realm for many years, so they were naturally very clear about the greed of some people in the Divine Realm. Every time she heard someone sighing because of this, Leng Ruoshue would have to helplessly console them and tell them not to worry. In the end, she could only pretend to ignore it. A few days later, Leng Ruoshue and the others, who were still in the Yao family's Divine Realm, received news from the various large factions one after another. Of course, these news were all sent by the little silver rats who were in charge of monitoring the large factions. Leng Ruoshue wasn't surprised at all when she saw the news. In fact, she appeared rather calm. In the garden, Uncle Long and the others looked at Leng Ruoshue, who was sitting on the stone chair as if nothing had happened and drinking tea leisurely. Finally, they could not help but ask, Shue, although those forces are very interested in your bounty, they have sided with Rimeice. Don't you have any thoughts about this? They really wanted to know what Leng Ruoshue was thinking after she found out about this matter. However, it had been a few days since they received the news, and Leng Ruoshue had kept her mouth shut. No matter how much anticipation they used to look at this lass, she would play dumb as if she didn't understand what they meant. And Leng Ruoshue's reaction made them so anxious that they almost went crazy. When Leng Ruoshue heard this, she looked at Uncle Long and the rest, who were filled with anticipation. She said calmly, what can I do even if I have an idea? I can't control the actions of those people. Everyone has their own aspirations. Before they take the initiative to provoke me, I can't make the first move to exterminate them, right? If that's the case, I'm afraid that my reputation as a devil in the Divine Realm will be solidified, and I might even incur the wrath of the Divine Realm. So, I can only swallow my anger and let them do as they please. These words made Leng Ruoshue's tone turn bitter. However, when Uncle Long and the others heard it, they felt. For a moment, they really wanted to impulsively tell Shue, should we kill all those people? As the saying goes, strike first and gain the upper hand. They couldn't let those jumping clowns hang around in front of their eyes all day long and add to their troubles, right? However, they quickly denied their thoughts. Leng Ruoshue's words sounded very resentful, but her expression was rather calm, as if she was talking about someone else's matters. As such, they naturally knew that Shue, did not care about those minor characters at all. However, the more insignificant a person was, the more likely it was that he would ruin things. Hence, Uncle Long said to Leng Ruoshue in a serious tone, Shue, although the small fish and shrimp outside can't be a big meal, they can still fill your stomach. So, I think you shouldn't dislike them. Otherwise, one day, because you ignored them, you might. Uncle Long deliberately said only half of his words because he believed that the smart girl Shue, would understand his worries. Uncle Long, don't worry. I know what to do. Actually, it's not that I'm not going to clean up the small fish and shrimp, but there's too little of them and not enough to fill my stomach. So, I'm thinking of waiting until I've collected more before fishing them all up together. This is also good. Hearing this, Uncle Long was stunned for a moment before saying. However, Uncle Long couldn't help but feel a little depressed. Did they worry for nothing? Shue already had plans? Ai. They knew that this girl didn't need them to worry about her, but they just couldn't control themselves. Uncle Long and the others were relieved and did not mention this matter again after they continued to glare at Leng Ruoshue with hidden bitterness. However, there was one more thing that made them feel a little depressed. The reason they issued that reward was originally to cause trouble for the Fog Ripple. After all, they did not expect anyone from the Divine Realm to be able to kill the Fog Ripple. Who was Wu Han? Even the current God Lords of the Divine Realm found it difficult to kill Fog Phoenix, let alone the other powers. However, when they thought about how the reward, which was clearly meant to make Fog Ripple uncomfortable, had instead caused trouble for them, their hearts clenched together in grievance. In reality, they were the ones who liked to be sentimental. The heartless Leng Ruoshue did not take this matter to heart at all. In her opinion, in the entire divine world, no one could be her opponent except for Wu Cheng. Even if all those forces joined forces, she could destroy one of them and two of them. She had this kind of confidence. This confidence of hers wasn't without restraint or reaching beyond her grasp, because she did have the strength to do so. Although her current strength was only at the level of a divine emperor, even if her opponent was a reverend god, she would definitely have the strength to fight. Unfortunately, he was too concerned. Uncle Long and the others were so worried about her that they had forgotten about her strength. However, this was also because Uncle Long and the others cared about her. However, Leng Ruoshue didn't want Uncle Long and the others to be so nervous and sigh all day long. Hence, she could only think of ways to find something for them to do. For example, she arranged for them to visit the Yao family. Why are we going to the Yao family? Hearing Leng Ruoshue ask them to go to the Yao family, Uncle Long and the rest were puzzled. That their relationship with the Yao family wasn't good enough for them to be able to move around as they pleased, right? Besides, if the head of the Yao family saw them now, wouldn't he want to eat them? I'm visiting. Leng Ruoshue repeated with a faint smile. We know that you're going to visit, but what we're asking is, why did you go to the Yao family to visit? Seeing that Leng Ruoshue was playing dumb, Uncle Long had no choice but to point it out. No reason. Isn't it normal for us to stay in the Yao family's divine domain temporarily and build a good relationship with the Yao family head? So, please send my regards to him, and remember to tell him to take care of his health and not to work too hard. Oh, and tell him to come to me if he needs money. I'll arrange an easy and profitable job for him. Leng Ruoxue said matter-of-factly. However, when Uncle Long and the others heard this, they couldn't help but mutter to themselves. The Yao family head definitely wouldn't be willing to build a good relationship with them. As for asking him to take care of his health, it would probably be too much. It would be good if the old man didn't have a heart attack when he saw them. How could he take care of his body? Now, they were very suspicious. Was Xue really trying to get them to come to the Yao family to build a good relationship with them? It didn't look like it at all. Instead, it seemed like he was deliberately going to the old man's house to anger him. Oh. It had to be said that Uncle Long and the others were not completely mesmerized by Leng Ruoxue's words. Leng Ruoxue had asked them to visit her because, other than the fact that it was a bit of an exaggeration to build a good relationship with the other party, she still had other intentions. But more importantly, she wanted to test the Yao family's old man's attitude. Even though both Green Vessel and Song knew about the current situation of the Yao family, sending someone over would lower the Yao family head's guard and anger him at the same time. This way, the old man of the Yao family might be driven to desperation. Otherwise, the old man would have kept his eyes closed and not moved, which made her feel quite helpless. It should be known that it had been several days since her bounty was issued. Some of the small and medium powers had already taken action. The other 6 patriarchs of the 8 great divine regions had also visited her to express their goodwill. Although on the surface, they shouldn't be participating in the battle between her and Wu Yan, these patriarchs should stand on her side at the critical moment. Of course, she did not care even if they had sided with Rimeice. However, Leng Ruoxue believed that no one with a brain would be willing to make an enemy out of her just for the rewards on her bounty. He would not want to join forces with Wu Cheng. It was the wisest thing to be on good terms with her. After all, since she dared to show those items, how could she be afraid of being targeted? Among the 8 divine regions, only the Yao family, which had been lively all this time, didn't have any movements. Since the Yao family had not come to look for her or sent anyone to look for Rime, Leng Ruoxue felt that she could urge the old man from the Yao family to make his position clear. However, she naturally wouldn't personally visit him. Uncle Long and the others, who were sighing all day long, naturally became the best candidates. After that, Leng Ruoxue sent Uncle Long and the rest out of the house. He turned back to look at the tightly shut door. Uncle Long and the others were almost pushed out of the door. He was dumbfounded for a moment. Did Xue despise them? Whoa. All right. They should go to the Yao family. With that thought in mind, Dongfang Yu, Dongfang Lin, and the others walked toward the Yao family's main residence with Uncle Long in the lead. When they arrived at the Yao family's main residence, Uncle Long and the others walked straight into the Yao family's living room without anyone's notice. Then, they ordered the servants to serve tea and snacks and began to eat as if no one was around. The servants of the Yao family who were watching this scene from afar were angry and resentful at Uncle Long and the others' rudeness, but the impression that Uncle Long and the others had left on them when they came to the Yao family was too deep. As soon as the servants saw Uncle Long and the others, they immediately cowered. What else could he do? These people were getting more and more barbaric. If he didn't satisfy their requests, he would definitely be the one getting beaten up. Because the Yao family's head butler, who had been beaten up last time, was still lying in bed. That was definitely an afterthought. At that time, he looked alive and kicking, but not long after, he couldn't make it. Everyone was afraid that they would end up like the Yao family's head butler, beaten to the point where they couldn't even take care of themselves. Therefore, they all put on an extremely obedient appearance. If they were told to go east, they would definitely not dare to go west. Suddenly, the servants saw a middle-aged man waving at them. After a few rounds of pushing, an unlucky man was pushed out and fell directly at the feet of the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man who was waving at them was Uncle Long. Uncle Long looked at the servant who had fallen in front of him with his limbs spread wide open, and his forehead was immediately covered with black lines. He smiled and teased, "No need to bow, I'm not your family's ancestor." What instructions does Senior have? The servant couldn't smile at Uncle Long's words, nor was he in the mood to joke with him. Instead, he cried and choked. Of course, he knew that this person wasn't his ancestor, but he didn't want to fall in front of this person. F***ck. He was pushed out by others, alright? Even if he wanted to get up now, he couldn't move. Because he was so scared that his legs were weak, and he couldn't use any strength at all. Orders? I just want to ask you, why hasn't your family head come yet? Could it be that he was not up yet? Or could it be that you overindulged yourself yesterday and can't get up today? Uncle Long asked curiously. I'm coming. The servant didn't need to answer. A voice that spoke through gritted teeth was heard after Uncle Long's words. The person who spoke was the Yao family's head, who had arrived late. At this moment, the head of the Yao family had a sullen face and an extremely unwilling expression, as if he had been raped. Seeing him like this, Uncle Long couldn't help but burst out laughing. Ha ha ha. Yao family head, why do you look like you're constipated? Did you not eat or sleep well these few days? Uncle Long asked with a big laugh. I've had a good rest. The Yao family head gritted his teeth so hard that they creaked. The anger in his heart was surging towards his heart. Originally, he wanted to explode, but after seeing the people sitting in the living room, he quieted down. F***ck. There were at least 5 Reverend God-level experts in the living room. What was this? Apart from Dongfang Lin, who was slightly weaker, he probably wouldn't be able to defeat any of them. This fact infuriated the head of the Yao family, but the situation was more pressing than he could handle, so he had no choice but to swallow his anger. After taking a seat in his chair, the head of the Yao family suppressed his anger and asked, "Why have the few of you come to the Yao family?" "It's nothing. I just came to see you and chat with you," Uncle Long said with a smile. "Chat? Chat, my ass." The Yao family head didn't think that he had anything to say to these hateful fellows. If these people didn't come to anger him, he would be Amitabha. Why would he even bother to chat with him? Wasn't that a weasel paying a New Year's visit to a chicken? It had to be said that the head of the Yao family was very cautious of Uncle Long and the others. Moreover, although he hated these people, he knew that he had been very well behaved recently and had not provoked them. Therefore, he could not figure out the purpose of these people's visit. This also made him quite conflicted and deeply troubled him. We don't seem to know each other very well, so there shouldn't be anything to talk about, right? After thinking for a while, the head of the Yao family said very implicitly. It doesn't matter if we're not familiar, we'll be familiar if we chat. Besides, I don't think we're not familiar with each other. I think we're all very familiar with each other. Uncle Long said nonchalantly. Dongfang Yu and the others couldn't help but twitch their lips when they heard this. That Uncle Long, can you not be so mushy? Mushy? It would cause a misunderstanding. Dongfang Yu and the others pleaded helplessly in their hearts. Unfortunately, Uncle Long couldn't hear their thoughts and continued to say, Little Yao Yao. You already know about Shue'er's bounty, right? Are you interested in participating? As long as you can get rid of Rye Mice, all those things will be yours. I'm sure your Yao family needs those treasures, right? Even a thick-skinned person like the head of the Yao family couldn't help but fall silent at this. His Yao family truly did need those things, but he did not have the ability to kill God Lord Fog Ripple. He didn't have the guts to do so he didn't need to think about the reward. Originally, he could also choose to rely on Rye Mice like some small and medium-sized forces who were not afraid of death. However, as the head of the Yao family, one of the 8 great divine regions, no matter how low his character was, he still had his own pride. If he was not forced, how could he be willing to find himself a master? Wouldn't that be looking for trouble? He didn't want to act according to other people's mood. That was why the head of the Yao family had yet to make a move even after Leng Ruoxue's bounty was out. Furthermore, he no longer thought that Leng Ruoxue was a soft persimmon that anyone could squeeze as they pleased. With Tsang by that wretched girl's side to protect her, even God Lord Rime couldn't do anything to her, much less him, the head of the Yao family. With Tsang Do, he admitted that his body was not as hard as the walls of the God Lord's estate. Hence, he no longer dared to have any designs on Leng Ruoxue. However, this did not mean that he had learned his lesson. Once the right opportunity presented itself, he would be more than willing to throw stones at Leng Ruoxue when she was down. Of course, the prerequisite was that he had to have the opportunity. Just like now, Leng Ruoxue was going against the Divine Master's estate. This was a good opportunity for him. However, he wasn't stupid enough to clearly state which side he was on. If he did, he would be in a very passive position if he made the wrong choice. It had to be said that the head of the Yao family was very self-aware. He was also a cunning old fox. He knew that the current situation was unclear, so he naturally didn't want to make a choice now. In simple words, he was just waiting and watching. Now, he had a rough idea of the purpose of Uncle Long and the others' arrival. Humph. He knew it. These people definitely wouldn't come here without a reason. They must have come to see him to rope him in. The head of the Yao family's mind was spinning as he thought to himself. Fortunately, Uncle Long didn't know what he was thinking. Otherwise, he would definitely scoff at him and tell him that he was thinking too much. Previous chapter. But now, the head of the Yao family felt that he had already taken the initiative, so he deliberately muttered to himself for a long time before slowly opening his mouth. Uncle Long, to tell you the truth, I'm really interested in the reward on Miss Leng's bounty. However, I know very well that I have no fate with those things and they are not something I can dream of. So, I can only look at the bounty. After the head of the Yao family finished speaking, a regretful expression appeared on his face to prove that he was truly regretful. However, Uncle Long didn't have much of a reaction to his words. Instead, he suggested with a faint smile, you can also learn from other forces. What are you going to learn? The head of the Yao family asked in a daze. Learn from them and join Rye Mice. Yao family head, the good things in my Shue'er's hands are definitely not just those on the bounty. Those things are just a drop in the ocean for her. So, as long as you join hands with Wu Yan and get rid of Shue'er, won't you be able to pick any of Shue'er's treasures? Uncle Long said in a light voice, as if he was talking about someone else's business. Dongfang Yu and the others were even more embarrassed. Uncle Long. You're still coming? What are you doing now? You'll be satisfied if you provoke the Yao family head to stand on Rye Mice's side, won't you? Dongfang Yu and the others broke out in a cold sweat for Uncle Long's idea. However, the head of the Yao family, who also heard this, broke out in a cold sweat and was frightened. At this moment, he was not thinking about how many treasures Leng Ruoxue had. Uncle Long was just testing him. That's right. He was testing him. She wanted to test if he would choose to be Leng Ruoxue's enemy because of the huge wealth in her hands. Actually, it would be a lie to say that he wasn't tempted by Leng Ruoxue's treasures. Many of the good things in Leng Ruoxue's hands were contributed by the Yao family. He had always felt the pain in his heart. Would he not want it back? However, it was not easy for him to put his thoughts into action. Sometimes, no matter how many natural treasures or top-grade crystals you had, what was the use of losing your life? He did not believe that he would be able to snatch those items back from Leng Ruoxue's hands without any injuries. Even if he was working with Wu Jing, he still did not think that robbing Leng Ruoxue would be an easy task. Somewhere in the bottom of his heart, he even had a different thought. He was afraid that Wu Xian would not be able to touch Leng Ruoxue easily. If that was the case, he couldn't join hands with Wu Yan. Otherwise, he would definitely be the one in trouble. At this moment, the head of the Yao family was extremely clear-headed and rational. Therefore, after sensing that Uncle Long was testing him, he quickly said, "I know my own limits, our Yao family will not get involved in this matter." AI. That's such a pity. Uncle Long sighed when he heard this. Regret? What was there to regret? The head of the Yao family really wanted to ask, but he felt that he shouldn't be meddlesome. The most important thing was to find a way to quickly send away these pestilence gods. However, Uncle Long and the others didn't plan to leave at all. Instead, they really pulled the head of the Yao family to talk about other things. After a long time, the sky was getting dark, and Uncle Long and the others reluctantly left. Before they left, Uncle Long patted the Yao family's head on the shoulder and told him, "Little Yao Yao, I'll be back." Upon hearing this, the Yao family head's face immediately darkened, while the servants of the Yao family all turned pale. All of them had long faces, and they were all wailing in pain in their hearts. "Wu! Why did you still come? Please don't come again." They couldn't afford to welcome him. However, Uncle Long didn't care about their reactions. He led the group of people and turned to leave. "Master." The servant sobbed as he watched Uncle Long and the others leave, his eyes full of pleading. "Don't let them come again." The head of the Yao family understood what he meant, but there was nothing he could do. "I've decided to go into seclusion. I won't see anyone who comes to find me in the future." After taking a few deep breaths, the head of the Yao family instructed his servant. After he finished speaking, the head of the Yao family directly left the dumbfounded servants behind and returned to his own residence. Only a few petrified servants were left on the scene. After Uncle Long and the others returned to their own residence, they were in a good mood. Before they could reach the garden, Uncle Long's voice was heard, "Shue, we're back." Leng Ruoxue, who was sitting in the garden, was speechless when she heard the noise. She knew that Uncle Long and the others had returned, so there was no need for them to emphasize their presence. While he was thinking about this, Uncle Long and the others had already arrived. "Uncle Long, didn't the Yao family ask you to stay for dinner?" Leng Ruoxue asked curiously when she saw that Uncle Long and the others had returned a little early. "No, I didn't, T. He can't wait for us to leave. Why would they ask us to stay for dinner?" Uncle Long said helplessly. "Yup. The Yao family's old man treated us like the plague and discreetly chased us away several times. However, we always pretended to be ignorant and sat in his living room shamelessly. After we left, he would probably cheer." Dongfang Lin added in a serious manner. "Hee hee." When she heard this, Leng Ruoxue couldn't help but laugh. She had just heard from Yao Tsang that the head of the Yao family didn't cheer at all, but claimed that he was in seclusion. "By the way, Shue, I've asked the old man from the Yao family. He said that he won't join the Rime Ice sect." Uncle Long reported. "Oh." Leng Ruoxue nodded. Then, Tsang's words rang in her heart. After hearing it, Leng Ruoxue's face darkened even more. She had heard the conversation between Uncle Long and the head of the Yao family from Tsang and couldn't help but sigh. Uncle Long was really too powerful. "Uncle Long, since the Yao family didn't have much of a reaction to my bounty, let's pack up and return to the demonic land tomorrow." After some thought, Leng Ruoxue spoke again. Initially, she wanted to wait for the Yao family's reaction and see if there was a need to deal with them. Who knew that the Yao family head would actually be afraid and hide? Since that was the case, she could only return to the residence. When everyone heard this, they were leaving. They immediately couldn't help but cheer. Seeing this, Leng Ruoxue felt even more helpless. It seemed like these guys had long wanted to go home. The next morning, Leng Ruoxue and the rest quietly left the Yao family's main city. However, when the Yao family found out that Leng Ruoxue and the rest had left, they had already left the Yao family's territory. The moment Leng Ruoxue and the rest left, the Yao family celebrated as if it was the new year. However, the head of the Yao family, who had long since entered closed-door cultivation, was completely unaware of this. Even if the elders of the Yao family wanted to inform him, they could not contact their own head, so they could only give up. When Leng Ruoxue and the rest were still in the Yao family's territory, their journey was relatively peaceful. However, once they left the Yao family's divine territory, they realized that the number of small fish and prawns that came to their deaths had increased. However, the small fries who came to die were obviously here to explore the way because these people were generally not strong and could not take a beating. Every time one of them came out, they would be able to clean up those people. However, as time passed, Leng Ruoxue and the rest would also feel depressed. If this happened once or twice, they wouldn't mind. However, when this happened more and more, and they had to deal with this kind of assault team every day, no one would be happy. Moreover, some of the attackers were actually beasts. This fact had completely enraged Leng Ruoxue. After a discussion, they decided that they couldn't let this continue. Therefore, when they encountered the attackers, they planned to spend some effort to get rid of the forces that those people were in. With this thought in mind, Leng Ruoxue and the rest naturally would not show any mercy to the small fry that came to cause trouble. The factions that they were in suffered an unprecedented blow. The entire foundation of their faction was completely uprooted from the firmament by Leng Ruoxue and the rest. When Leng Ruoxue and the rest were doing this, they did not hide it. Instead, they openly allowed the news to spread throughout the entire God world. However, there were too many people in the immortal realm, so they did not know how the rumors would spread. However, one thing was for sure. After Leng Ruoxue and the rest had massacred the people, Leng Ruoxue and the rest's reputation for being vicious and evil had become even more well known. Of course, the Divine Master's estate had also contributed to this. For a time, the God world had mixed opinions about Leng Ruoxue. Those who supported her were naturally those who were closer to her. As for those who called her the greatest scourge of the divine world, they were basically incited by the God Lord Manor in secret. However, Leng Ruoxue wasn't someone who would care about what others said. Just like that, under the strange, shocked, and fearful gazes of the people from the God world, Leng Ruoxue and her group swaggered back to the land of demons. After staying in the land of demons for a long time, Leng Ruoxue and the others felt a sense of closeness to their home. The beasts in the land of demons were also very enthusiastic about Leng Ruoxue and the others' return. Furthermore, Leng Ruoxue was surprised to see the Leopard Clan's members among the crowd of beasties. Seeing that Leng Ruoxue was looking at him, the Leopard Clan leader's face turned red. Then, he stood out from the crowd of beasties and said softly, "Little girl, we've moved here to settle down. You won't not welcome us, will you?" The old leopard was a little worried. Now that the beast race and Leng Ruoxue were at loggerheads, what if this little girl didn't want to see them? "Of course, you're welcome," Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. She did not let Old Leopard struggle for long. When she was at odds with the Divine Master's estate and the Beast Clan, Old Leopard was still willing to lead his clansmen to visit her. Of course, she was very happy. This was enough to show that their friendship had not been affected by the outside world in any way, and it also proved that she had a good eye for beasts. After hearing Leng Ruoxue's words, Old Leopard's heart that had been hanging in the air finally settled down. In reality, when the conflict between Leng Ruoxue and the magical beasts first appeared, the Old Leopard, who thought he understood Leng Ruoxue's character, did not believe the rumors outside. Although many magical beasts had made their statements, the Leopard Clan had not made any moves. He had even secretly sent his clansmen to the land of demons to ask Leng Ruoxue about the situation. However, at that time, Leng Ruoxue seemed to be in closed-door cultivation. The people he sent were too embarrassed to ask Uncle Long and the others, so they asked the magical beasts in the land of demons. They learned that those magical beasts had firmly chosen to stand on Leng Ruoxue's side. The Leopard Clan that Old Leopard was in also secretly made up their mind to support Leng Ruoxue. The members of the Leopard Clan believed in their judgment of people. Their junior leopard was indebted to Leng Ruoxue and she was a trustworthy human. Hence, they naturally chose Leng Ruoxue. However, at that time, the Leopard Clan did not appear to be too close to Leng Ruoxue and the others. However, in private, it had sent many of its clansmen to the land of demons. Even though the Leopard Clan's clansmen did not visit Leng Ruoxue and the others every time they came to the land of demons, their private interactions with the magical beasts in the land of demons were still discovered by the other magical beasts. With this discovery, the days of Old Leopard and the rest of the Leopard tribe became much harder. In addition, the Leopard Clan did not issue any joint statement regarding Leng Ruoxue's previous attack on the magical beasts. This was also why some of the magical beasts who had long disliked them treated them as aliens. They would even throw dirty water on them from time to time, saying that they were in cahoots with Leng Ruoxue. They said that they were traitors of the beast race. Alright. It admitted that they were on Leng Ruoxue's side. However, the Leopard Clan had always been careful in their actions. Yet, some of the beast clans who had a grudge with the Leopard Clan had discovered some clues. This fact made the Old Leopard rather depressed. However, it also knew that there was no concrete evidence for the words that the other party had spread. It was estimated that they had found out that they had gone to the land of evil demons, so they had added some embellishments and said some things that were not beneficial to the Leopard Clan. However, even if these words were largely watered down, it still had a significant impact on the Leopard Clan's life. This was especially so in their previous territory. The neighboring magical beasts had now joined forces to ostracize them. The Leopard tribe's tribesmen were attacked by other magical beasts from time to time, and they were even scolded as traitors of the magical beasts. Every day, they would be cursed at and attacked as scheduled. As time passed, the Leopard tribe finally could no longer stay in their original territory. In fact, according to the Old Leopard's original intention, the more those beasts ostracized them, the more they should live there. After all, the Leopard Clan had been operating there for tens of millions of years, and it was their home. No matter how good other places were, the meaning to them was different. However, the adult leopards could bear it, but the little guys in the clan could not. Hence, Old Leopard, who had no intention of seeking shelter with Leng Ruoxue, could only thicken his skin and come over. At least, the beasts in the land of evil demons were friendly to them. Seeing that they intended to settle down in the land of evil demons, the forces of the beast race in the land of evil demons showed unprecedented enthusiasm and even enthusiastically helped them build a residence. This also made Old Leopard, who had been worried that he would not be welcomed before coming, completely relieved. Now that he saw that Leng Ruoxue also welcomed them, Old Leopard naturally felt more at ease. It was very clear about the position that this little girl, Leng Ruoxue, held in the hearts of the magical beasts in the Devil's Land. Thinking of this, Old Leopard said with embarrassment, "Embarrassment, little Shue, our leopard tribe didn't plan to come here at first. We'll stay in our original territory so that we can know in advance if there's any sign of trouble in the beast tribe and send you a message. However, now that the leopard tribe has been ostracized, we can't stay here any longer, especially the junior leopards in the tribe who are bullied every day. So, we have no choice but to go along with their wishes and confirm our reputation as traitors of the beast tribe by coming to the devil's land. The old leopard explained. The members of the leopard clan were too honest and were not suitable to be spies. Otherwise, they would not have been bullied and left their hometown. Hearing this, Leng Ruoxue smiled and consoled, Patriarch Bao, how can you be traitors? The real betrayer of the magical beasts should be the ones who have ostracized you. What? When old leopard heard Leng Ruoxue's words, he could not help but widen his leopard eyes. Its ability to understand was a little poor, so it didn't understand what this little girl meant. Have you guys heard about my bounty? Leng Ruoxue asked, pretending to be mysterious. Well, who wouldn't know about such a big thing? The old leopard nodded his head in a daze. His eyes were filled with admiration as he looked at Leng Ruoxue. She was Master Yu's disciple. What a noble status. Since you've heard about it, you naturally know my identity. Tell me, who were the beasts loyal to in the past? Leng Ruoxue asked. Of course it's Master Yu. Lord Yu's position in the hearts of the beast clans is irreplaceable. Yes, Master. Old Leopard said with excitement on his face. Since that's the case, then isn't it only natural for you to be on good terms with me? Don't forget, I'm Master Yu's disciple. That's why you're not traitors to the beast clan. The beast clan's traitors are those who betrayed Master and went against me. Leng Ruoxue reminded him with an evil smile. That's right. Our leopard clan is not a traitor to the beast clan. The real traitors are those who went against you, little girl, and slandered you. When the old leopard heard this, he immediately echoed loudly in a high-spirited manner. But then, he became listless again and said in a pitiful voice, little girl. What's the use of saying that we're not traitors of the beast clan? In the eyes of many beasts with ulterior motives or those who don't know the truth, we are still traitors. Old Leopard was very reluctant to admit this fact, but this world was where the strong were respected. Even if Leng Ruoxue was Master Yu's disciple, the beast clan did not acknowledge that. In fact, in the hearts of many beast clans, Master Yu was Master Yu, and Leng Ruoxue was Leng Ruoxue. There was no relationship between them at all. Of course, unless Leng Ruoxue was able to display a power that would make all the other beasts fear her, or gain the approval of the 4 great beast kings, it would be difficult for Leng Ruoxue's identity to be acknowledged. Oh, really? If that's the case, it looks like we can only use special methods to confirm that they're the traitors. After thinking for a while, Leng Ruoxue said coldly. A cold light flickered in her eyes, which made Old Leopard's heart jump and his little heart tremble. What was this little girl trying to do? Although he felt a little uneasy, Old Leopard still gathered his courage and asked, little girl, what do you mean? Subdue them. Those who are willing to surrender, I welcome them. Those who aren't willing to surrender, I'll use force to suppress them. Let's start with the original territory of your leopard tribe. Didn't you say you were traitors? I'll let them see who the traitor is. Who will be the beastie who laughs last? Leng Ruoxue added. Hearing these words, Old Leopard immediately broke out in a cold sweat. His heart trembled more and more and his legs became a little soft. This girl was going to start a war. For some reason, the Old Leopard pitted those beasts who wanted to go against Leng Ruoxue. At the same time, he was glad that he was wise enough to cling on to Leng Ruoxue. Otherwise, if they really fought, the combat power of Leng Ruoxue and the others was not to be underestimated. After glancing at Uncle Long and the others, Old Leopard's heart was strangely calm. It seemed that he still had to train. Look at all the people and beasts present. None of them had heard Leng Ruoxue's words and acted like a bear. All of them were calm and collected. He forced himself to calm down. After taking a few deep breaths, he slowly said that. In my original territory, the most powerful beast clan was the Fox clan. Even though the Fox tribe is not as strong as us in terms of fighting power, they are too cunning. Honest beasts like us are not their match. To put it bluntly, the other party used their wisdom, while they were too lazy to play tricks. Fox clan? The Snow Fox tribe? If she did not remember wrongly, it seemed that the beastie on her side had a grudge with the Snow Fox tribe. However, she had been very busy ever since she came to the divine world. No. It's the White Fox clan. Where do they live? Leng Ruoxue blinked her eyes and asked curiously. The Snow Fox tribe loves the cold. Their base is located on the largest snow mountain in the immortal realm, the Longevity Mountain. They are neighbors with the White Tiger tribe. The Snow Fox tribe is also a vassal of the White Tiger tribe. Old Leopard explained. A vassal of the White Tiger race? Didn't the Snow Fox tribe have a very high status in the divine realm? He actually became someone else's subordinate? Chief Leopard, are your words watered down? Leng Ruoxue asked with a look of disbelief. No, I didn't. It was absolutely true. Right now, the Snow Fox tribe is indeed a vassal of the White Tiger tribe. This isn't a secret at all in the immortal realm. Otherwise, the White Tiger tribe would have long chased them out of the Longevity Mountain. Old Leopard said with certainty. So, the Snow Fox tribe is very weak now? How should he put it? It could not be said to be very weak. However, the most important royal bloodline in the Snow Fox tribe was the purple-eyed Snow Fox. However, ever since the previous Fox King passed away, there were no more purple-eyed Snow Foxes in the Snow Fox tribe. Furthermore, the current Fox King's bloodline was not pure and he was unable to cultivate the Fox tribe's techniques to the highest level. Naturally, he was unable to restore the glory of the Snow Fox tribe in ancient times. As a result, the status of the entire Divine Realm's Fox tribe had declined. He was the current king of the Snow Fox tribe. They even became the White Tiger race's vassals. Becoming a vassal of the Beast Clan and acknowledging a human as their master were two different things. Acknowledging a human as its master meant that it had acknowledged a human, and that human must have something extraordinary about him. However, in a situation where everyone was a magical beast, if they became a vassal of a magical beast, it would mean that a certain magical beast had completely abandoned its dignity and become a lackey of its own kind. Such a magical beast race did not have the pride of a magical beast race to speak of. Naturally, they would not receive the respect of other magical beasts. However, in the current divine realm, there were definitely many magical beasts who chose to become a vassal of a powerful beast for the sake of survival. Therefore, this trend seemed to be the general trend. Under the situation where everyone did that, there would be no distinction between who looked down on who. For some magical beasts who were unwilling to rely on the powerful, they would retain their dignity, but at the same time, their days in the divine realm would become more and more difficult, and they would be bullied and ostracized. However, no matter what the result was, it was the choice of each magical beast. Are purple-eyed snow foxes only important to the snow fox race? Leng Ruoxue couldn't help but ask after hearing what Old Leopard said. The snow fox is the king of the fox clan. The purple-eyed snow fox is of utmost importance to the entire fox clan. However, the current fox clan does not have any purple-eyed snow fox at all. Therefore, the fox clan has naturally declined. The old leopard was very patient, but when he saw the little fox in Leng Ruoxue's arms, his round leopard eyes instantly widened. You. This. The old leopard pointed his paw at the small and cute little fox in Leng Ruoxue's arms. It was snow white without a trace of mixed colors. He stammered and could not complete a sentence for a long time. F***ck. What was this? It had just said that there were no purple-eyed snow foxes in the snow fox tribe, and this little girl had already created one for it. Was she trying to test the endurance of its heart? Alright. This girl had one. Seeing this tiny, palm-sized purple-eyed snow fox, the old leopard's heart had indeed been tested like never before. May, say hello to the leopard tribe leader. Leng Ruoxue glanced at the petrified old leopard and said with a face full of sympathy. AI. She's just a little fox. Was there a need to be so surprised? Leng Ruoxue couldn't help but mutter to herself. However, it was a good thing that old leopard did not know Leng Ruoxue's inner thoughts. Otherwise, he would be depressed to death. What did he mean by, isn't she just a little fox? The one you're carrying in your arms is a purple-eyed snow fox, all right? That was the natural king of the fox race. He could command the entire fox race. More importantly, ever since the previous fox king had fallen in the divine realm, no purple-eyed snow fox had appeared. Therefore, it was impossible not to be surprised. Hello, I'm May. The May spoke very obediently. In fact, it knew the old leopard, but the old leopard had never seen it before. Hello. The old leopard was still stammering, but he was obviously calmer than before. However, his eyes were full of curiosity as he stared at the May without blinking. His eyes were full of surprise. The May was a little scared by the old leopard's stare and could not help but shrink into Leng Ruoxue's arms. She could not help but send a voice transmission to her master. Master, the way this old leopard looks at me is too scary. It better not have any thoughts about me. Otherwise, I won't let it go. It was not joking. However, when Leng Ruoxue heard the May's words, she couldn't help but smile indifferently and said, You're thinking too much. It was just too surprised by your species. What's so surprising about my breed? It's so rare to see. Mei Yiran transmitted her voice to Leng Ruoxue with dissatisfaction. Her cute little face gradually fell and she was about to explode. However, at this moment, Old Leopard retracted his gaze. Little girl, is this little fox yours? Old Leopard confirmed. Yes. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Do you want it to be the Fox King? Old Leopard asked excitedly. Of course, May will be the future king of our fox race. Before Leng Ruoxue could reply, another furious voice rang in Old Leopard's ears. Then, a huge snow-white figure appeared in front of everyone. You are. Looking at the huge snow fox in front of him, the old leopard asked hesitantly. The snow fox looked familiar, but he could not remember where he had seen it. I'm Snow Shadow. Shuang glanced at the old leopard and said arrogantly. Shuang. Old Leopard repeated the name and frowned. The name was so familiar. Suddenly, he had a flash of inspiration and shouted, Arg. Snow Shadow. Isn't Shuang the traitor of the Fox clan who was once wanted by the Fox King? You're the traitor. Your entire family is a traitor. Upon hearing this, Shuang was unhappy and shouted back. In the eyes of other beastie, my family is indeed a traitor. However, you've been wanted by the Fox clan throughout the divine realm. I didn't expect that you'd actually be hiding at this little girl's place. Who's hiding? I'm here in broad daylight, okay? Alright then. Looking at Snow Shadow's reaction, the old leopard wisely did not argue with it about this matter. Seeing that he had won against Old Leopard, Shuang turned to Leng Ruoxue and said, May will definitely become the king of our fox race. Let's immediately set off to challenge the fox race. Upon hearing this, Old Leopard, Leng Ruoxue, and the rest fell silent. Leng Ruoxue and the rest were thinking that even if they wanted to challenge the Fox clan, they had to make some preparations first. On the other hand, Old Leopard's thinking was more pragmatic. This was not something that could be achieved in a short period of time. However, looking at Shui Ying's reaction, he seemed to be in a hurry, as if the Fox tribe would be his in the blink of an eye. The Old Leopard did not agree with Shui Ying's impatient temperament. However, he did not say much, in case this bad-tempered snow fox would vent its anger on him again. Anyway, he was just a bystander, so he would let the little girl worry about these things. Just as he was thinking about this, he heard Leng Ruoshue's voice. It's not impossible to pick a fight with the Fox clan, but I have to make preparations first. Give me some time. We'll leave the day after tomorrow. After hearing this, Old Leopard continued to be silent. In fact, it was more suspicious that it had heard wrong. The day after tomorrow, they would set off to pick the Fox tribe. What could he prepare in less than 2 days? However, looking at everyone's confident expressions, it felt that it was better not to spoil the mood. In this way, 2 days passed by in the curiosity of the Old Leopard. However, during this time, the Old Leopard's questions were not answered. Faced with the Old Leopard's eager eyes, no kind person was willing to answer his questions. Then, Leng Ruoshue told Old Leopard that they could set off. The Old Leopard was still in a daze as Leng Ruoshue and the rest led him on the road. The floating cloud mountain was not too far away from the land of the evil demons. In the heart of Old Leopard, the doubts were getting heavier and heavier. Were they on vacation? Or travel? Why couldn't it feel the tension before the battle? Or could it be that it was too agitated? Old Leopard was very depressed. The consequences were very serious. The price of this result was that while the others talked and laughed along the way, it remained silent. When they finally arrived at the floating cloud mountain, Old Leopard finally saw a trace of excitement on his face. I didn't expect to revisit an old place so soon. Hearing this, Leng Ruoshue couldn't help but raise her beautiful eyes and asked indifferently, Leopard Chief, is this the floating clouds mountain? Yup. It's beautiful here, right? It's beautiful, but where's the mountain? That. It's been too long, and the mountain has long disappeared. Hearing this, Leng Ruoshue blinked her beautiful eyes and didn't say anything. She only fixed her gaze on the red-faced Old Leopard. I'm telling the truth. All right then. Leng Ruoshue sighed helplessly. Even if there were mountains here in the past, they wouldn't have been that big. She didn't want to talk about whether there was a mountain, so she said directly, let's enter the forest. Leopard clan leader, lead the way. And, little girl, where are we going first? There are many types of beasts here, and many of them are quite powerful. Let's go to the White Fox race first. All right. The Old Leopard nodded. The White Fox tribe had a very high status in the floating cloud mountain. If they were to incorporate the White Fox tribe first, it would make many other beasts feel intimidated. That. Why did it feel like it was exhaling its pride, like a fox exploiting a tiger's might? Within the White Fox race, a huge snow-white fox was lying on a green stone slab, enjoying the warm sunlight. When it heard the report from the Fox tribe, the snow-white fox lazily closed its eyes and asked, you said that the Old Leopard is back? You even brought some humans? Yes. Clan leader, those guys are coming in our direction. According to my guess, Old Leopard must have found some helpers and come back for revenge. Revenge? Oh. It was not impossible. However, I'm more interested in the background of those humans. You can go and investigate. Clan leader, there's a human woman among those people. She looks a little like Leng Ruoshue from the video. The little fox thought for a moment and decided to report the truth. Leng Ruoshue? Are you sure? The huge white fox squinted its eyes and laughed wildly in its heart. Yes. The little fox nodded her head. Seeing this, the huge snow fox immediately got up and instructed the little fox, go and inform the clansmen that we have a guest. The little fox nodded and immediately ran away. At this time, the huge snow fox shook its snow-white long fur and took out a comb from somewhere. After mumbling to himself, the narcissistic White Fox tribe leader strode elegantly away from the bluestone slab she had just laid on and walked toward the main entrance with great confidence. By the time the White Fox clan leader arrived at the main entrance, the swift White Fox clan members had already formed a line, waiting for the proud White Fox clan leader to arrive. When the White Fox clan leader saw this, he did not forget to nod in satisfaction at his underlings. Little 3, Little 4, the Old Leopard and those humans are not here yet? This speed is too slow. Not yet. Those humans are too weak and need to rest for a long time after walking a few steps. What it meant by Leng Ruoshue and the rest being too weak and needing to rest after every few steps was that Leng Ruoshue and the rest were collecting herbs and admiring the scenery along the way. However, if Leng Ruoshue knew that the White Fox clan leader had been waiting for them anxiously, she would most likely ask, why are you in such a hurry? Was he in a hurry to die? Leng Ruoshue and the rest were not in a hurry, forming a stark contrast with the White Fox clan leader's anxiety. However, the White Fox clan leader would not show it on his face. Otherwise, if the clan members knew, where would his dignity as the leader of a fox be? Therefore, after pondering for a while, the White Fox clan leader nodded and said, then I'll take a nap. Wake me up immediately when they arrive. Little 3 and Little 4, who were the 2 white foxes serving the White Fox clan leader, hurriedly nodded their heads. Then, the White Fox clan's foxes gathered around their clan leader and waited for Leng Ruoshue and the rest under the scorching sun. When Leng Ruoshue and the rest entered the floating clouds mountain, it was still early in the morning. That was also the time when the herbs in the forest were the freshest. Many of the herbs still had clear dewdrops on them. There were also many alchemists in their group. Hence, when they saw these herbs, it was as if they were seeing their family. Although the herbs they saw along the way were only ordinary herbs, the amount of ordinary herbs used during alchemy was often the highest. Therefore, as alchemists, Jiang Ning and the others consciously bent down to collect these amiable herbs. When the others saw this, they did not urge them to hurry up. Instead, they helped to collect as usual. However, as the guide, Old Leopard was definitely not used to this situation. Seeing everyone bending down to pull the weeds from the ground, Old Leopard was all kinds of restless. Yes. The medicinal herbs in the eyes of the crowd were like weeds in the eyes of the old leopard and the other beasts. They had no use at all. Therefore, it could not understand Leng Ruoxue and the others. They were not treasures, why did they need to mobilize all of them? Wantonly collecting? Could it be that these people came here to pull out the grass? Old Leopard had not forgotten the purpose of their trip, but Leng Ruoxue and the others had obviously forgotten. For a moment, the old leopard was extremely depressed. His face was full of sorrow. Occasionally, he would sigh and steal a glance at Leng Ruoxue and the others with his resentful eyes. However, Leng Ruoxue and the others were in the mood to collect herbs, so his expression was a waste. By the time Leng Ruoxue and the rest had collected most of the medicinal herbs along the way, the sky had already turned dark. She looked at the moon that hung shyly in the sky and heard the howls of the beasts from the forest. Leng Ruoxue asked for everyone's opinion, should we continue or rest for the night and set off tomorrow morning? Tomorrow morning. It's dark now, and if we come across more herbs on the road, it'll be a problem to collect them. Jiang Ning was the first to express his thoughts. He was a man who was closer to herbs than to his own father. He would never allow a man to not collect herbs when he saw them, even if they were just ordinary herbs. Moreover, he had a great time collecting herbs along the way today. It should be known that he would not dare to step into a place where many beasts gathered. However, being with Leng Ruoxue and the rest today, his safety had increased greatly. Hence, he was definitely not willing to let go of such an opportunity. Most importantly, these herbs didn't belong to anyone. They only needed to spend some manpower and resources to collect them. As a result, Jiang Ning had completely forgotten the purpose of his visit. However, he had originally come here with the intention of watching the show. So, it was normal for him to forget the main purpose. And now, collecting all the herbs he encountered along the way had become his top priority. Therefore, he insisted on resting for the night and leaving tomorrow morning. After hearing what Jiang Ning said, Old Leopard wanted to tell him that they didn't come here to pick herbs. It was a serious matter. Don't forget what you're here for, alright? However, when it saw that everyone present had nodded in agreement, it could only keep the cry in its heart back into its stomach. Although it didn't want to admit it, it wasn't worth much in the eyes of these people. After a moment of worry, Old Leopard, who had a good mentality, had no choice but to accept this fact. It seemed that it needed to get used to these people's slow pace. Old Leopard thought to himself. They rested for a night. The next morning, Leng Ruoxue and the others continued on their journey after breakfast. They still treated collecting the herbs they found along the way as a major task. Old Leopard was helpless about this, but he slowly got used to it. Later on, influenced by Leng Ruoxue and the others, Old Leopard even took the initiative to lead them to the areas with more weeds. Leng Ruoxue and the others naturally had a good harvest, but it had been more than 10 days when they arrived at the White Fox clan's territory. Standing at the edge of the White Fox tribe's territory, the Old Leopard was ashamed. It would have taken less than a day to reach the White Fox tribe's territory, but under his guidance, they had walked for more than 10 days. It was not because they had lost their way, but on purpose. Old Leopard couldn't help covering his face with his hands when he saw this. Those who didn't know would definitely think that it was so senile that it couldn't even find the White Fox tribe's territory. But in reality, it was even more wronged than Do-e. Chief Leopard, haven't we arrived at the White Fox tribe's territory? Why aren't you going in? Or do I need you to give a roar and send a message to the White Fox race? Leng Ruoxue looked at Old Leopard, who was standing there in a daze, and asked with a puzzled expression. If he roared, it would be a blatant provocation. The Old Leopard said. However, they seemed to be here to provoke him. Little girl, Old Leopard said after some thought, I think we'd better go in directly. The White Fox tribe must have received news of their arrival long ago, so there was no need for them to put on an act. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Report chapter comments. Then let's go in. Leng Ruoxue nodded. Then, she gave the people around her a look, and they swaggered into the White Fox race's territory. When Old Leopard saw their vigorous and spirited appearance, his spirit was also shaken and he quickly followed them. As they walked, they did not even see a single strand of fox fur, much less a white fox. Chief Leopard, are you sure this is the territory of the Arctic fox? Leng Ruoxue asked with uncertainty. It's absolutely true. Old Leopard nodded hard. What about the white fox? If there's no white one, a black one will do too. Leng Ruoxue laughed lightly as she teased. However, the Old Leopard was not as relaxed as Leng Ruoxue. The absence of the white foxes could only mean one thing: all the white foxes had been summoned back to their clans to deal with them. With this thought in mind, Old Leopard's mood instantly became heavy. He said with a serious face, the white foxes have probably rushed back to the clan. They must be here to deal with us. Oh. Since that's the case, let's hurry to the White Fox tribe. Don't make them wait too long. When Leng Ruoxue heard this, she quickly replied. I'm afraid. I've been waiting for a long time. The Old Leopard secretly sighed. Of course, he would never say it out loud. Then, he nodded and said, then let's go. Unfortunately, its wish was good, but the reality was cruel. Even though they had already arrived at the White Fox tribe's territory, Jiang Ning and the other alchemists were still unwilling to let go of the medicinal herbs along the way. Seeing this, Old Leopard's heart was beating so fast that it was as if it was scratching his heart and liver. Just like that, the group took another 3 days to reach the White Fox race's territory and their base. As for the extremely narcissistic White Fox tribe leader, she was already getting impatient. When the clan leader of the White Fox clan had been anticipating the arrival of Leng Ruoxue and the others, she had been in high spirits. Her condition and aura were at their peak, as though she was a warrior who was ready to fight in her best condition at any time. However, he was still looking forward to it. After a day and 2 days of absence, its mood gradually became anxious, and its accumulated state of mind slowly relaxed. In the end, its whole body was listless and became listless. Furthermore, it had been guarding outside with the Fox tribe members for the past few days, eating and sleeping in the open, exposed to the elements, and had completely lost its image. This was because it was not sure when Leng Ruoxue and the rest would arrive. They were clearly very close to them, but they were still not here. The White Fox tribe leader was getting impatient, and the Fox tribe members were also getting tired of waiting. The image of the foxes was like that of a stray fox that had been wandering for a long time. Their originally snow-white fur had turned gray because they had not washed and combed it for a long time, and it was even stuck together. When Leng Ruoxue and the others arrived at the White Fox clan's encampment, they were greeted by a group of dirty and listless foxes. Upon seeing this, Leng Ruoxue turned to Old Leopard with a suspicious look. "Chief Leopard, is this the Arctic Fox tribe? You didn't bring the wrong one. Why does this place look like a beggar's den? Wasn't the White Fox race the strongest beast in the Floating Clouds Mountain? He was also known for his intelligence, so how did he end up in such a miserable state?" Seeing these dirty foxes called white foxes, Leng Ruoxue was deeply suspicious of the Old Leopard's words. Was the Old Leopard praising these foxes a little too much? "Little girl, this is the White Fox race's territory. There's no mistake about it. Do you see the biggest fox? It's the leader of the White Fox race." In order to increase his credibility, Old Leopard specifically pointed out to Leng Ruoxue who the clan leader of the White Fox clan was. However, when Leng Ruoxue heard the Old Leopard's words, she shot a glance at the White Fox clan leader. She was even more distrustful of the Old Leopard's words. She couldn't believe that the dirty fox that was looking at them in a daze was the White Fox tribe's leader. If it really was, she would be extremely disappointed. In her eyes, all foxes love to be clean. However, Leng Ruoxue couldn't help but cover her face with her hands. They were so dirty that she didn't dare to look at them directly. At this moment, Leng Ruoxue heard another "awoo" sound. Then, the huge fox that was pointed out to be the White Fox clan leader did not even turn its head back and ran away madly behind her like a wisp of smoke. When the other foxes saw this, they also reacted. In the blink of an eye, all the foxes in front of Leng Ruoxue and the others had disappeared. Ugh! What was this situation? Leng Ruoxue and the rest were dumbfounded by the fox's strange behavior. Even Old Leopard was confused. Little did they know that the White Fox clan leader had led a group of people to wait for Leng Ruoxue and the others. They had waited for too long, so none of the thoughts they had in their hearts, or what would happen when the two parties met, were put to use. Not only that, the test of time had made them lose their patience and confidence. Just as they had given up on guessing when Leng Ruoxue and the others would arrive, Leng Ruoxue and the others suddenly appeared in front of them. Hence, they could not react in time and were stunned. The conversation between Leng Ruoxue and the Old Leopard was naturally heard by all the foxes. When the White Fox clan leader came back to his senses, the first thing he thought of was how he would look like as the #1 beautiful fox in the White Fox clan. "I'm finished. I'm finished." It was so embarrassing. As the White Fox clan leader ran, she let her thoughts run wild. Then, she ran back to her residence and quickly washed up. When she reappeared in front of Leng Ruoxue and the others, she was already a fragrant, clean, and snow-white fox. After washing up, the White Fox clan leader's confidence returned. The White Fox clan leader glanced at the Old Leopard arrogantly and said with a sullen face, "Old Leopard, you are a traitor of the beast race, and you still have the face to come back? He even brought back a human to help him, humph. You have nothing to say now, right? Let's see how you're going to quibble." "I'm not trying to quibble. However, my little girl has said that I'm not a traitor to the beast race, you are." The Old Leopard raised his head and puffed out his chest as he spoke with incomparable confidence. These days, Leng Ruoxue and the others had been brainwashing him a lot. "Bullshit. You Old Leopard, we didn't collude with the humans to harm the interests of the beast race." The White Fox clan leader could not tolerate the Old Leopard's slander. "I don't have any." Old Leopard also said innocently. "No? You've already brought the humans back, and you still dare to say you don't have them?" The White Fox clan leader questioned him angrily. Today, he finally realized that this seemingly honest Old Leopard was actually quite shameless. This was becoming more and more like it. "There's nothing." Old Leopard still said. You. The White Fox clan leader pointed at the Old Leopard with her huge claws. She was so angry that her whole body was trembling. She was wrong. This Old Leopard was even more shameless than it. The facts were in front of it, but it still dared to renege on the debt. "Calm down." Old Leopard deliberately dragged out his voice, and then coughed a few times and continued, "That sly fox, I'm here today to recruit you. You should quickly surrender." The Old Leopard's words were very direct. However, the White Fox clan leader was puzzled and asked, "What do you mean by amnesty enlistment?" It knew about surrendering, but it had never heard of the term amnesty. Amnesty enlistment means that you surrender of your own accord. Leng Ruoxue explained with a faint smile. The moment she saw Leng Ruoxue, the White Fox clan leader clearly felt as if she had been struck by a bolt of lightning known as love. Ugh! Why did this sly fox suddenly become shy? The old leopard saw the huge fox, who was just baring its fangs and brandishing its claws, wanting to cut him into 8 pieces, suddenly became shy like a little wife in the blink of an eye. Could it be that in the blink of an eye, something had happened that it was unaware of? It turned out to be a disaster caused by beauty. However, Leng Ruoshue's image had been circulating in the immortal realm for a long time, and he had never heard that this sly fox had taken a fancy to that little girl, Leng Ruoshue. Why did it look like it had fallen in love with the little girl at first sight? This. Should it congratulate him? However, it didn't want to reveal the result, so it. As for Leng Ruoshue, she saw that clan leader White Fox had only glanced at her once before she hurriedly lowered her head. She knew that many beastmen's aesthetic values were different from that of humans. Thinking of this, Leng Ruoshue continued, the treatment of surrendering voluntarily and being forced to surrender is definitely different. So, clan leader White Fox, you must think this through. I can follow you if I surrender. Of course. Leng Ruoshue nodded her head with certainty. After becoming her beastie, if it didn't follow by her side, where else could it go? Then, I. The White Fox clan leader peeked at Leng Ruoshue with her pink eyes. She then turned around to look at her clansmen who were all at a loss. She felt a little conflicted. Was love more important, or was clansmen more important? If they surrendered voluntarily, they would be able to stay by the side of the person they liked, and the safety of their tribesmen would be guaranteed. The White Fox race was a respected beast race in the Floating Clouds Mountain. If the other beasts knew that it surrendered to the humans without even fighting, would they look down on it? At the thought of this, the White Fox clan leader secretly turned its gaze to the others. Because there were only 2 possibilities for not being able to see through its strength. One was that the other party was hiding its strength, and the other was that the other party's strength was too much higher than its own. These people were obviously here to cause trouble. When the White Fox clan leader saw this, she felt a little indignant. This wasn't because its will wasn't strong enough, it was just following the bigger picture. Then, just as it was about to agree, it suddenly frowned and asked with uncertainty, "Are you Leng Ruoshue?" It better not get the wrong person. I'm Leng Ruoshue. Leng Ruoshue's face was filled with black lines at the clan leader's question, but she still answered truthfully. "You're willing to surrender now that you know I'm Leng Ruoshue?" "No." The White Fox clan leader was embarrassed again. It was only afraid that it had mistook the name of the person it loved, so it wanted to ask clearly. However, when the little foxes of the White Fox tribe heard that their tribe leader was going to surrender, they all fell into a petrified state. By the time they reacted and wanted to protest, everything was already set in stone. In addition to that, the White Fox clan leader was a man of his word in the clan. Therefore, there were not many clansmen who dared to oppose her. After easily taking over the White Fox clan, the smaller beast clans that were attached to the White Fox clan naturally joined Leng Ruoshue's team. The speed and aggressiveness of the old leopard made him feel no sense of achievement, especially when he saw that the fox, who usually liked to go against him, was not even looking at him. "You bastard." It was something that would forget its friends at the sight of a beauty. It was wrong. They weren't friends, they were enemies. An opponent who forgets his friends at the sight of beauty. Before he came here, Old Leopard had imagined countless scenes when they met, such as a one-on-one fight, a group battle, a pair of NS, and so on. Old Leopard was very sullen and depressed about his old rival's unusual behavior. After thinking for a while, he quietly pulled Leng Ruoshue to the side and reminded her in a low voice, "Little girl. That fox is famous for being cunning. It surrendered so easily, be careful of a trap. I'm fine. It can't escape from my palm." The old leopard, who remained in the same place, felt extremely heavy. At this moment, the White Fox clan leader, who sneezed several times, came to the door with a suspicious look and asked in a low voice, "Damn old leopard, did you say something bad about me in front of Shue? We're sworn enemies, have you forgotten? So, it's normal for me to badmouth you. What a joke." It was truly laughable. However, when the White Fox clan leader heard this, she did not fly into a rage. Instead, tears welled up in her eyes as she pitifully pleaded, "Brother Bao. Grandpa Leopard. Everything that happened in the past was my fault. I was wrong. Please be magnanimous and forgive me. Woo. Please don't say bad things about me in front of Shue. I'm begging you. Alright?" Looking at the White Fox clan leader crying and begging him with tears in his eyes, the old leopard did not know what to say. In fact, it was hard to say that there was a deep grudge between it and this sly fox. Orcs were like this. As long as it didn't involve irredeemable grudges like the extermination of their clan, everything else was fine. Therefore, under the White Fox clan leader's deliberate fawning, the leopard and fox, who were originally like fire and water, very quickly became as close as brothers, wearing the same pants. When Leng Ruoshue saw this situation, other than feeling a little speechless, she did not have any other thoughts. After all, Old Leopard and that narcissistic fox were already on her side. She had already beaten up quite a number of beastie the moment they met, so she really did not want to see the two beastie, who were like arch-enemies, again. However, what she could not stand was that Old Leopard was actually brainwashed by that fox. As long as he found an opportunity, he would praise the fox in front of her as if the fox was the only one in the world. After a few days, Old Leopard was depressed. When it was bored, it wanted to have a heart-to-heart talk with the little girl. One afternoon, the Old Leopard was lying on the White Fox tribe's territory, sighing and reminiscing about spring and autumn. Suddenly, a tall figure blocked the sunlight above his head and sat down beside him. "Hello." Uncle Long nodded and patted the old leopard's big furry head. He said helplessly, "Old Leopard. What's wrong with you these days? You sigh all day long. The little girl is ignoring me. What did you do to make her unhappy?" "I didn't." Old Leopard buried his head in his thoughts, but he could not figure out how he had offended Leng Ruoshue. "Impossible. You must have done something." Uncle Long glanced at the confused old leopard and said with certainty, But I really didn't do anything. Is it because I talked to her too much a while ago, so the two beside her are unhappy? What did you and Shue talk about? Hearing Old Leopard's words, Uncle Long's curiosity was piqued again. Nothing much, just about that fox. I put in a few good words for it in front of the little girl. I see. Uncle Long finally understood. That sly fox's intentions towards Shue were too obvious. Uncle Long, do you know the reason? Seeing that Uncle Long seemed to have understood, oh whoa. All of a sudden, a pained cry was heard. Uncle Long patted Old Leopard's head and said with sympathy, you should know now. Is that a coquettish fox? Well, it's being fixed by someone, don't be stupid enough to go and help. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble too. MMH. I don't know anything. The cries in his ears were getting more and more miserable. It was really too terrifying. The old leopard had a lingering fear. Old Leopard, who was slow to understand, immediately got up from the ground and ran towards Leng Ruoshue's direction. Of course, it wasn't there to put in a good word for that sly fox. This time, it was to suggest that Leng Ruoshue set off to subdue the other two-thirds of the beast race. After subduing the White Fox clan, Leng Ruoshue and the rest had stayed here for a few days. Therefore, Old Leopard was very eager for them to set off immediately. Leng Ruoshue, who was urged by the Old Leopard, decided to set off after seeking the opinions of Jiangning and the others. Leng Ruoshue and the rest's next destination was the territory of the Wolf clan. Originally, the Arctic Fox tribe, the Werewolves, and the Leopards were the three great beast tribes of the Floating Clouds Mountain. After Old Leopard's Leopard tribe was pushed out, the territory of the Leopard tribe was taken over by the Bear tribe. The Bear tribe also became one of the three major forces in the Floating Clouds Mountain. Not long after Leng Ruoshue and the rest set off, a tall figure suddenly appeared at the main entrance of the White Fox clan's encampment. That tall figure had tears in his eyes as he looked longingly at the beautiful figure that was leaving. Suddenly, he let out a loud wah and started wailing. Clan leader, my condolences. Seeing her clan leader cry without a care for his image, the little fox beside the tall figure had an extremely conflicted expression on her face. My condolences, my ass. You've been turned into this by me, can you even cry? My Shue. My love. Woo, I'm so ugly right now, how can I be by Shue side? The little fox was helpless and didn't know what to say. AI. It's just that his fur was shaved. Did she have to cry so sadly? It's not like it can't grow back. The little fox could not understand. When she thought of this, the little fox closed her eyes and glanced at the clan leader's current appearance. Previous chapter. Can't you be more honest? Must I use violence? After the Silver Wolf King was done beating him up, it even grumbled in dissatisfaction. Upon hearing this, the giant black wolf wanted to cry but had no tears. Leng Ruoshue's face was filled with black lines. The mocking gazes of Uncle Long and the others made her feel extremely awkward. She guaranteed that her beastie's violence had nothing to do with her. Are you being honest now? Are you convinced? Seeing that the black wolf did not respond, the Silver Wolf King asked again impatiently. I'm honest, I'm convinced. The black wolf had tears in its eyes. Woo, he couldn't even stand up after being beaten up, so how could he be disobedient? That's good. Remember, you have to follow my master in the future. Do whatever my master says. If you dare to play tricks, I'll continue to beat you up. The Silver Wolf King threatened. You. Why do you have a master? The black wolf asked in disbelief. In fact, it had wanted to ask this question earlier, but before it could open its mouth, it was beaten up. Now, it also wanted to know the answer to this question, otherwise, it would die with grievances. Why can't I have a master? The noble Silver Wolf clan will not recognize a master. My ass. That's because they didn't meet a good master. Otherwise, they'll beg to be recognized as their master. Maybe. The giant black wolf did not know what to say when it saw the Silver Wolf King's stubbornness. The Silver Wolf King patted the head of the giant black wolf in admiration and promised, follow my master and do a good job. I promise you won't suffer any losses. That. I still don't know who your master is. My master is Leng Ruoshue. From now on, you have to listen to her. The Silver Wolf King warned. Yes. The giant black wolf nodded. Whoa. It should have guessed that this silver wolf was related to that human, Leng Ruoshue. It was a pity that it didn't think in that direction because it didn't like humans. However, now that he knew this fact, it was probably useless. It was already in the bag of these humans. Following that, under the Silver Wolf King's authority, the giant black wolf, which was covered in injuries, respectfully invited Leng Ruoshue and the rest to the encampment. Then, it sent people to invite the weaker magical beasts that were attached to the wolf clan. Just like that, Leng Ruoshue subdued the wolf clan and the forces on its side without much effort. The Silver Wolf King, who had made a great contribution, immediately asked for the bracelet back after the black wolf became obedient and continued to be intimate with his beloved wife. When Old Leopard saw Leng Ruoshue and the others had subdued the wolf tribe, he sighed with emotion. If these people had not wasted their time on picking herbs, Floating Clouds Mountain would have been in their hands by now. However, it also knew that the Floating Clouds Mountain was too small, so this little girl didn't put it in her eyes at all. Otherwise, she wouldn't have taken picking herbs as her main task and subduing the beasts of the Floating Clouds Mountain at the same time. After subduing the wolf tribe, Leng Ruoshue and the rest did not waste any more time. The next day, they set off for their final destination, the Bear tribe's encampment. Along the way, the Old Leopard looked at the familiar road and couldn't help crying several times. He was too familiar with the road to the Bear tribe, but now it didn't belong to him. The Old Leopard was a little sad. If he had not been so useless, he would not have left his home and been driven out of the floating cloud mountain. This time, he must hold his head high and restore the prestige of the leopard tribe. At the thought of this, Old Leopard couldn't help but turn to Leng Ruoxue and say, "Little girl, regarding the matter of subduing the bear tribe, let me step in." "Sure." Leng Ruoxue nodded. Seeing that Leng Ruoxue had agreed, Old Leopard's momentum was boosted, and he walked with vigor. However, when he arrived at the bear tribe's encampment, Old Leopard felt a sense of homesickness. Leng Ruoxue was speechless when she saw Old Leopard's coy look. Wasn't this Old Leopard's imposing manner quite high along the way? "Why are you so scared here?" Seeing this, Leng Ruoxue could not help but remind him, "Leopard clan leader, it's your turn. Go." The bear clan was different from the fox clan and the wolf clan. No one from the bear clan had come out to welcome them. "I'm going," Old Leopard said with his chest out. "Yes." Leng Ruoxue nodded. Then, just as she was about to see Old Leopard off, who knew that Old Leopard would suddenly become dispirited and lower his head, looking listless. I'll brew it again. What are you afraid of? Isn't it just a bear? They're not as agile as you can beat them, can't you?" "It's not that I can't beat them, but their defense is too thick." "I see." Leng Ruoxue gave it some thought. This Old Leopard's reaction was really slow. Leng Ruoxue couldn't help but sigh as she looked at Old Leopard, who was deep in thought. She then suggested, "Why don't you rest while I deal with them?" This. I said I'd do it myself," Old Leopard said, embarrassed. "Isn't this a different story? If you have a good idea, of course you will deal with it, but before that, let me do it for you." "How is it?" Leng Ruoxue coaxed. "All right then. You deal with them first, I'll continue to think of a way." Old Leopard thought for a while and agreed. "All right." Leng Ruoxue chuckled to herself, then said, "Leopard clan leader, please call out our opponent first." "No problem, watch me." Old Leopard's chi power suddenly changed. Then, he immediately roared towards the empty boundary. Following that, Leng Ruoxue and the others heard footsteps. They felt the ground in front of them was shaking and the rumbling sounds were deafening. After that, dozens of dark brown bears that were over 10 meters tall appeared in front of Leng Ruoxue and the others. These bears all looked drowsy, and some of them were still covered in dried yellow grass. "Old Leopard, you dare to come back?" "Oh." He even brought back a lot of humans. These bears loved to sleep and had been sleeping ever since they occupied the Old Leopard's territory. "I'm scared. However, I'm afraid I have to come back." "Did you come back to die?" "Humph. Since you're looking for death, don't blame us for being ruthless." "Don't worry, I won't blame you." Hearing the Old Leopard's words, the leader of the giant bears grinned. Then, the huge bear pounced at the Old Leopard. However, before it could touch the Old Leopard's fur, it was blocked by a petite human woman. Needless to say, this human woman was Leng Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue blocked the giant bear's path. "What?" Upon hearing this, the leader of the giant bears looked down at Leng Ruoxue. It could not imagine that this human woman, who was not even as thick as its arm, would actually dare to stop it. Could it be that this little human did not know that he could send her flying out of Floating Cloud Mountain with a single kick? Was she not afraid? "I'm your opponent." Seeing the suspicious expression on the leader of the giant bears, Leng Ruoxue felt that the fellow in front of her did not understand what she was saying, so she repeated herself. However, hearing the same words for the second time, the giant bear leader was furious. "You bastard. I'm not deaf, you don't have to repeat it twice." Leng Ruoxue fell silent. "If you understand, why don't you give me a reaction? Why do you have a blank expression?" When Uncle Long and the rest heard the giant bear's words and caught a glimpse of Leng Ruoxue's depressed look, they laughed in their hearts. However, even though Uncle Long and the rest were laughing in their hearts, they did not dare to show it on their faces. Otherwise, they would be in deep trouble if that last Leng Ruoxue got angry. However, did they think that Leng Ruoxue would not know that they were laughing in their hearts just because they did not laugh out loud? If he really thought that way, then he was wrong. It was just that Leng Ruoxue didn't have the time to find trouble with them. She had placed all her attention on the big stupid bear in front of her. That damn stupid bear, he actually dared to talk to her in a disdainful tone. So what if she said it twice? Was it illegal? Leng Ruoxue's heart was burning with anger. Following that, she looked at the giant bear in disdain and said, "Are you deaf? I thought you were old and had bad hearing, so you didn't know what I was talking about. Otherwise, why was there no reaction? Or rather, you're just too slow. You despicable human. I didn't want to hurt you because you're so petite, but now that you've provoked me, I'll show you my true reaction." The leader of the bears was provoked by Leng Ruoxue and immediately flew into a rage. In reality, the reason why it did not react to Leng Ruoxue was not only because it did not understand why Leng Ruoxue dared to stop it, but also because bears were not that sensitive. In addition, it was still thinking about the reason why Leng Ruoxue had stopped it. With all these factors combined, its reaction was naturally even slower. However, it clearly knew that its reaction was slower than the other beasties, and it was unwilling to be spoken out so directly by a human. Therefore, the giant bear was enraged, and the consequences would be very serious. In the next second, the leading giant bear's hill-sized body immediately pounced towards the petite Leng Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue had become its main target. If it did not teach this human woman a lesson, how could it continue to live in Floating Cloud Mountain in the future? With this thought in mind, the giant bear did not show any mercy to Leng Ruoxue. Its palm leaf fan-like bear paws swung left and right, bringing with them a sharp wind. Unfortunately, it could not even touch a single hair on Leng Ruoxue. Leng Ruoxue dodged left and right, her body was extremely agile. Not long after, the leader of the giant bears was drenched in sweat. The giant bear panted heavily and soon became so tired that it could only stand on the spot and pant. However, its pair of copper-like fierce eyes glared at Leng Ruoxue even more fiercely. Seeing this, Leng Ruoxue's smile became even more blue as she encouraged, "Big stupid bear, hurry up and run. Don't stop, I'm still waiting for you to finish me off." These infuriating words almost made the leader of the bear spit out blood. Its eyes widened even more. However, its body was huge to begin with, and after chasing Leng Ruoxue for so long, it really had no strength left. At this moment, the bear, who was filled with hatred, waved its huge paw and said to the anxious clansmen behind it, "Everyone, attack. Teach this ugly monster a good lesson." Ugly? Was he talking about her? Hearing these 3 words, Leng Ruoxue fell silent. She had even forgotten to listen to the giant bear's reactions as she stood rooted to the ground. Although she had long known that some beasts had a different sense of beauty from humans, and also knew that this was definitely not the first time a beast had called her ugly, and of course, it would not be the last time, but every time she heard a beast call her that with a face full of disgust, she still could not help but feel confused. And it wasn't just her. Any human who heard these 3 words from a bear's mouth would probably be unable to remain calm. Mo Yen and the others were also dumbfounded. In comparison, Uncle Long and Old Leopard were the calmest. Furthermore, their eyes were fixed on the giant bears. As soon as the giant bears made their move and were about to surround the petrified Leng Ruoxue, Uncle Long and Old Leopard rushed out like 2 sharp blades and blocked the giant bears. At this moment, Leng Ruoxue had also regained her senses. Her beautiful eyes glanced at the leading giant bear, who was still unaware of the impending danger, and said to Uncle Long, "Uncle Long, you watch the battle first. I'll deal with these bears." "Little girl. There are quite a few of these bears, Uncle Long will help you take care of a few. I don't want you to be tired," Uncle Long said worriedly. He was mainly afraid that Shui would be provoked by these bears. If these bears took advantage of a loophole, Shui would be in danger. "Uncle Long, I'm fine. I can handle it." After speaking, Leng Ruoxue turned her attention to the bears. She couldn't be bothered to waste any more time with them. Floating in midair, she threw the fire-type divine energy in her hand at the huge brown bear. The huge fireballs were as dense as meteors and emitted a terrifying temperature. Uncle Long and the others immediately retreated when they saw this, and a trace of sympathy appeared in their hearts for those giant bears who were seeking death. What a pitiful guy. He had really angered Shui. Otherwise, Shui wouldn't have directly killed him. Those who had seen Leng Ruoxue's terrifying flames naturally knew how powerful those flames were. It was a pity that the giant bears were too confident in their own defense. Hence, other than feeling a little hot, they did not think much of it. After each of the giant bears put up a defense for themselves, they were like bystanders, admiring the dazzling fireballs. But when they saw the fireballs break through their defense and come in their direction, they really panicked. The giant bears continued to defend in a flurry, but how could their defense be faster than the fireballs? Before the second wave of defense was launched, the fireballs had already pounced on them. In an instant, dozens of giant bears were set on fire. Arg! It hurts. Pained howls could be heard from the sea of fire. Leng Ruoxue patted her fair hands and laughed, "It's done, we're done." Ugh! When everyone heard this, they couldn't help but wipe their sweat. "You're not going to settle it." However, these bears were in for it. Moreover, they seemed to be here to subdue these bears, right? He shouldn't be here to eat roasted bear paws. But now, not to mention a roasted bear paw, it had directly become a roasted bear. Little girl, are you planning to burn them to death?" The old leopard couldn't help but ask, not daring to look at the terrible state of the giant bears. Although the leopard clan and the beast clan of the Floating Clouds Mountain had some disputes, they were all beasts. Seeing that these bears were about to become roasted bears, the kind old leopard still couldn't bear it. It was not to say that it was a woman's mercy, but that there was no irreconcilable enmity between them. Therefore, the old leopard naturally did not want to see these bears become roasted bears. Beasts were not as ungrateful as some humans. There were few ungrateful ones in the beast clan. Most of the beasts were grateful to their benefactors. Otherwise, old leopard would not have asked for mercy for these unlucky bears. "Do you want to eat roasted bear paws?" Leng Ruoxue laughed but did not answer. "No, I don't." The old leopard was very honest. Although leopards were carnivores, they only ate weak and unintelligent small beasts. As for bears, they had never eaten them before and would not eat them. After all, in their eyes, eating highly intelligent beasts was the behavior of the devil. Previous chapter. "I see. Then I can only not burn them to death." Leng Ruoxue laughed evilly. Hearing this, old leopard was relieved. The little girl's words of not burning them to death meant that those big guys' lives were saved. However, they might suffer a lot of physical pain.